On the latest episode of BCC, The Other Side.
Northern Frights continues as we examine a seductive and dangerous legendary entity, the Holdra. Plus, I drop a few teasers about Expedition Bigfoot Season 2.
To subscribe to The Other Side, go to patreon.com/BigfootCollectorsClub.
It's Bigfoot Collectors Club with Bryce and Michael. I know a ghost story or two. Let's do this.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Bigfoot Collectors Club, the show where we talk to amazing guests about their personal paranormal history and share stories of high strangeness. I should fire myself after saying guest that way. I'm your host, Michael McMillan. With me always is your other host.
Aloha, Bryce Johnson here.
Oh God, he's on island time now. He's been on the island for a week, and now he's already singing. You're a real is it a howley? Is that what they call it? Yeah,
that's what they call it.
You're a howley, buddy. And then, of course, that sound is the dulcet tones of our super producer,
Riley Bray.
And because you've already downloaded this episode, you saw who the guest was, we're going to bring her right in. Kids, we're celebrating the holiday season this week. We're a bunch of Christmas kids here in the clubhouse. We honor and acknowledge all holidays of the holiday season, but Christmas is my favorite holiday. And as we've explored over the past 2 Yule tides, Christmas is full of weird characters.
Yeah. And we're starting to, we have a tradition here now.
Now we have I know it's funny because our first Christmas, we didn't do this. We just kind of forgot Christmas or the holidays altogether, and then I wanted to make sure that we did it. We started it 2 years ago with this guest, so we thought we'd bring back our recurring Christmas guest to help us unpack this year's Christmas cryptid, Elves. We're gonna be talking Elves. Club Scouts. She's an actor and a comedic performer, and honestly, a fucking megastar.
Yeah,
she's also the co-host of A Funny Feeling. She is our BCC sis. Please give a warm Club Scout salute to the one and fucking only Betsy Sodaro.
Oh, oh shit, yeah! Oh man!
Remember,
thank you,
Betsy. Remember when we did the live show at FanX and you said started dropping F-bombs immediately, and then like a mom carried her child out of this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I started talking about this magnet I have on my fridge where it's 2 pigs fucking, and like immediately the mom was like, "We gotta get out of here." Yeah, well, whatever, man. Making bacon in Memphis. Yeah. Yes,
that's how you filter a crowd. Get them out of there if they don't want to be there.
Yeah, you get filthy immediately, and then you're like, "Yeah, get out of here, you bummers! Come on."
So if any of you guys turned off this podcast after hearing Betsy talking about 2 pigs fucking, you're not real fans of the show, okay?
Right. Yeah, you're not fans of paranormal, unexplainable stuff. You can't handle 2 pigs fucking, man.
Then this isn't the field for you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
We could not be back.
I love this tradition.
Yeah, this is awesome. I do too.
Well, and I should just say up front, I listened back to our first couple episodes just to check on where we had treaded, and we did something in the very first one that I thought is a good idea. If the pigs fucking didn't make you turn this off in front of your kids, then just a reminder, we might get into some Christmas spoilers about a certain fat elf. Oh, by the way, my dog's losing it because my Indian food just showed up.
Go get that food.
Go get that food.
Guys, tell them about the Christmas spoiler. I'll be right back.
Yeah, look, so if you have children that listen to this podcast who might still believe in a jolly old elf, maybe now's the time to push them away a little bit, because we will be talking about Real shit.
Yeah, shove him out of the room. Get him out of here.
That being said, my daughter's at an age now. This is the first Christmas. She's 11 years old, where she knows, and she's let me know that she knows.
Oh,
and yeah, I know, it's kind of sweet. And do you know what Elf on the Shelf is, Betsy, Riley?
Yeah, I know it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's this it's like this juggernaut phenom. It's this lady who wrote a book called Elf on the Shelf, and it came with a little elf, and it's like a little fucking spy, right? And
you have to like CIA drone.
It's like a little, and you got to move it around the house, and because apparently, according to the book, the elf watches your behavior and then flies away, reports back to Santa, and comes back the next day. And so, if you're a good parent, you've got to creatively move this elf every night. And sometimes you'll forget to, and my boy be like, he didn't move. And I was like, oh shit.
Testing you.
Yeah, totally. But
this is just teaching kids to behave in a surveillance state.
It's the worst.
Yes,
I would have never bought that fucking book had I known the amount of shit I was getting into. But this year, my daughter, she's like, Daddy, I'll move the elf tonight. And I was like, okay. All right. And so she's having fun getting creative with it. So.
That's nice. I'm glad she's not like mad.
No.
It's just more like, cool, I want to in on this now. Like,
yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Oh, that's so cute.
Charlie found out.
Yeah, she kind of let me know that this year that she knows what the deal is. My son, who's only 2 years younger, and obviously I've learned that women evolve so much faster on every level. My son's still like,
hell yes,
woo, Christmas and elves and Santa, and you're just like not even close to knowing the full, not even close.
Oh,
she's perpetuating the magic for him.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah,
that's so nice.
Yeah,
I can't remember if I ever told the story of when I found out. Did we tell these stories?
I don't know. You're the one that reviewed the last 2 episodes.
Yeah. What did we do on those, man?
I didn't get all the way through the second one. I'll be honest. I had work to do today, prepping the show. But
well, tell us anyway, Michael. When did you realize that?
My mom was in a really bad mood because my sister missed the bus. I was probably in the 2nd or 3rd grade.
Oh, that's early.
That's young.
And so I was like 9, maybe 8, 9, and I'd been a little suspicious, obviously. But like, you don't. I mean, as a grown man who still collects action figures, obviously Santa was a very important figure in my life.
Yeah.
We don't judge here. Those are collectibles, not
that's right,
not toys.
That's right.
And I remember like picking the worst moment to go up to my mom and be like. She was like, my sister missed a bus. They were in an argument. My mom had to then drive. Was going to have to drive her to school, which she didn't want to do. Because her bus came like a half hour earlier than mine. And my mom was like cleaning up the dishes. And I was like, because she was a beleaguered housewife. And I was like, Mom, is Santa Claus real? And she like threw a plate in the sink, looked at me, and she said, Michael, do you think one man can really fly to every house? And deliver presents to every house of every kid in the world.
Let me subtitle that. Michael, how fucking dumb are you? Honestly.
And
honestly, Michael.
My mom's like a nice lady. She was just pissed. And I remember immediately going, oh no, this backfired. And I was like, if he's magic, he is. And she just gave me a look that I knew, and I burst into tears. And I ran upstairs and I sat outside my sister's bedroom because I knew she must have known. And she was banging around, getting ready rushing to get ready. And I just sat outside her room and cried.
Oh.
And then 10 minutes later, I collected myself and I went downstairs and I walked into the kitchen. I said to my mom, well, at least I still have the Easter Bunny and the Tooth Fairy. And she shot me another look that immediately erased the two of them, and I burst into tears again.
Wow.
And now you host a paranormal podcast.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, the power of tulpas makes Santa's real.
Do you scream that at her every Christmas?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the powers of tulpas, Mom. Make them fucking real.
Joke's
Betsy-
on you.
Didn't think about that.
Yeah, huh?
Betsy, do you remember where you were when you found
Where
out?
I was. It was I remember I was snooping through my parents' closet and found this set of books that I had asked Santa for.
Oh.
And then when Santa came that next day, whenever, Christmas morning, whatever, those books were from Santa, and I was like, oh,
Right.
But I wasn't like I was just kind of like, oh, okay, now everything kind of makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't super sad. Like, I wasn't super upset about it.
Yeah, that magic just being destroyed like that ruined me for a couple of years. You know what I mean? For sure.
Yes.
What about you guys? Do you remember? We're going here. Let's do it.
I never officially acknowledged it because my parents were divorced. I would spend Christmases
Whoa.
with my dad and realizing how much work he put into like
Oh.
keeping up the facade. And at some point he must have known that me and my brother knew, but nevertheless, he just like still went full steam ahead with like the Santa and the Christmas thing because so we would do Christmas Eve at my grandma's house and we'd open all the presents from each other, right? So if it came from my dad or my grandma or my brother, we'd open those. And then Christmas morning, there would be a whole other batch of presents under the tree from Santa Claus.
Whoa.
Only that would be at my dad's house, like a mile and a half away. So we'd do Christmas Eve at my grandma's and then we'd all go to sleep. And looking back now, he must have woke up around like 2 a.m., drove to his house, got everything together, right? And then drove back to grandma's house to go to sleep so we didn't know he was gone.
Whoa.
And we'd wake up at like 8 and then be like, okay, let's go to your house. And boom, we'd do it. And it was just like, a whole setup. And I mean, he relished Christmas with us. I mean, because, he only had summers and Christmases. So he put on a fucking show. But,
And he was a toy man.
oh my God, he loved toys and he was very, very much a child at heart. And so he really got a kick out of that. And so I never wanted to let him know that like, even like 15, I remember like, man, that fucking Santa puts on a show. Like, he sure does. So
That's
yeah,
so
that is-
sweet.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, that's like, wow, that's really nice. I mean, for me, I feel like I saw some assembly of something happening. It was a present for my brother, I think, my younger brother. But I had 2 younger brothers, so I had the similar reaction where I was like, "Oh, now I'm on this team."
Oh, right.
Fun.
Don't worry, I'm good for it. Like, yeah, and so I don't remember being sad about it. I remember kind of being like, I was pretty suspicious, And then I saw my dad I think it was a bike for my brother. I saw him putting it together. Like I kind of snuck out of my room.
Mm.
You
And
peeled back the window to Santa's workshop.
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
Yeah.
that
If
makes sense.
If I
Right.
ever have kids, I'm going to dress in a Santa costume when I'm putting up their Santa gifts. So if they walk out, I'm going to look like Santa.
Oh yeah,
Dude.
go full tilt.
That's Inception level, Mike.
I give you doing that 1 year. And I think after the first year, you're going to be like, oh, fuck, I don't give a shit, man.
Yeah, my dad used to, obviously I would get like, I was a lucky kid, fortunate kid. I got like play sets every year, like Castle Grayskull and the Ghostbusters Firehouse. And I remember, I think the year I got the Ghostbusters Firehouse, my dad, which was probably the last year that I believed, my dad wrote a letter because he just got tired of doing this and he was probably drunk and didn't want to deal with it.
No.
But like, I remember walking out and just having the box, and instead of the firehouse being set up, there was a letter from Santa on top saying, "You're old enough to put this together." And I thought, like, this is awesome. Santa left me a letter.
That's great.
Cool.
So I got shit to do tonight. Good luck, Em.
Yeah.
You have fun, kid.
Yeah, and I loved, a collector that I was. I loved the boxes, so all the more the merrier, as far as I was concerned.
Man, amazing.
Well, Betsy, it's so good to have you back. We're gonna get into a little bit more of the holiday spirit, but before we do that, Riley, Bryce, we have some BCC news. All right, so this is probably going to be old news by the time our listeners hear this, but this is a story that came up this week that we got sent, or at least I did. It was texted to me by a million people. I think you know what I'm going to be talking about here. Betsy, let us know if you heard this one.
Okay.
This is from NBC News. This is pulled it up on Yahoo. The headline reads, "Aliens exist, and Trump almost let it slip," says Israeli professor and former space official. A former Israeli space security chief has sent eyebrows shooting heavenward by saying that Earthlings have been in contact with extraterrestrials from a quote-unquote galactic federation. The unidentified flying objects have asked not to publish that they are here. Humanity is not ready yet. Haim Eshed, former head of Israel's Defense Ministry Space Directorate, told Israel's Yediot Aharonot newspaper. The interview in Hebrew ran on Friday and gained traction after parts were published in English by the Jerusalem Post on Tuesday. A respected professor and retired general, Eshed said the aliens were equally curious about humanity and were seeking to understand, quote-unquote, the fabric of the universe. Eshed said cooperation agreements have been signed between species, including an underground base in the depths of Mars, where there are American astronauts and alien representatives.
Wow, this guy's sipping the tea, huh?
Yep, he said, I think it's more than just tea. There is an agreement between the U.S. government and the aliens. They signed a contract with us to do experiments here, he said. Eshed added that President Donald Trump was aware of the extraterrestrials' existence and had been on the verge of revealing information, but was asked not to in order to prevent mass hysteria. They have been waiting until today.
Because he's opposed to mass hysteria.
Yeah, he hates getting people all riled up. Like,
sorry.
No, that's fair.
They have been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we will understand in general what space and spaceships are. I mean, I think we can probably wrap our brains around what the fuck spaceships are, unless, of course, we're talking about some high-tech gizmos. Eshed said, referring to the Galactic Federation. The White House and Israeli officials did not immediately respond to NBC News' request for comment. Su Gao, a spokesman for the Pentagon, declined to comment. So I'm going to pull a Bryce and say that's basically where I'm going to end it here.
Yeah,
but a high-ranking Israeli dude saying that aliens are real and it's basically Star Trek, but we're not ready to graduate to that level. What do you guys think?
Well, I'll tell you what I think. I think he joins the ranks of people like Nick Pope, who served as part of the Ministry of Defense for the British government from 91 to 94, who now is like on the UFO circuit. And it also reminds me of a guy named Paul Hellyer from Canada. He was an ex-defense minister who's long been insisting that aliens have visited Earth for many years, and that when aliens saw the atomic bomb, they decided that we were a great threat to the cosmos. So, you know, he's not alone in being one of these sort of top-level government insiders who, in my humble opinion, have just formulated their own opinions, reading a few classified documents, and sort of tried to connect the dots of what they think is going on.
A great point, because actually Nick Pope, Betsy, I want to get your reaction, but I want to jump on what Bryce just said. Right. Nick Pope is quoted in this article. He says, Nick Pope, who used to investigate UFOs for the British Ministry of Defense, described Eshed's remarks as extraordinary. Either this is some sort of practical joke or publicity stunt to help sell his book. He has a book coming out. Perhaps with something having been lost in translation, or someone in the know is breaking ranks. Pope said that the UFO and conspiracy theory community was excited, but the questions remained, including whether or not Eshed was speaking from direct personal knowledge and experience, or whether he is repeating something he has been told.
Right.
And Nick Pope ends it with, there are still some missing pieces of the puzzle here. And that's kind of, you know, when this came out, I went back to look at Paul Hellyer from Canada, because it reminded me of that. And I pulled up an interview. I'll put it in the show notes. And Paul Hellyer, in an on-camera interview, basically says, yeah, I was the Ministry of Defense for Canada, but I got calls about UFOs, but never investigated it. Never looked into it, never saw anything about it, right? It's only later when he retired that he got into ufology and read, of all things, The Day After Roswell by Philip Corso, which has sort of been,
right,
there's
not the best source material.
Not the best source of material. And then his son talked to an Air Force dude that was like, oh, yeah, that's all true and more. And that kind of sent Paul Hellyer down a line of getting, just down the rabbit hole and getting into it much in the way that we are. And decided, okay, this stuff has to be true, but not based on any of his experiences while serving for Canada as Ministry of Defense.
I mean, it's just a stark reminder that these people in top tier positions are just human, and they're subject to folly and foible, and they house opinions of their own, not based on factual evidence, and sometimes they just love to spout off.
Bets, what do you think?
I just nuh-uh, man. Like, I think sure, aliens have probably been here, cool, but I don't think that shit's happening.
Yeah, the base on Mars and is just like a little deep secret space program and Wilcox. It's just like,
and it feels a little politically motivated wherever you fall on the spectrum. But also the shout out to Trump is a little he wanted to do it, but he was told not to. And Les Bryce pointed out, when has he ever been decided not to do something based on something someone told him?
Right.
So, and also the idea of the Galactic Federation to me is okay, this is very Star Trek.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Riley, same, you think?
Yeah, I mean it's a little on the nose,
Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't it be awesome if it were true?
Totally.
So I want it to be true, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's crazy that he is a high-ranking general though, and has a respected academic career. It's hard to just dismiss. It's what is the motivation here? You can either say it's dementia, or he's trying to sell books,
or it could be a big disinformation drop.
Or is it that? What? It's hard to just laugh it off, but it's it's ridiculous at the end of the day.
I think rumors circulate in these tight circles, and once somebody starts to do a little research of their own, it's hard to disprove the existence of UFOs and aliens. So then they tend to lean the other way, and there's so much material on the existence of these things. They probably, just like us, they start going down the rabbit hole, and just because of the title of the position that they held gives their what they think more weight, more credence, when really they're out there on the edge going, I think this is what's going on,
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, Bryce. It's people are very much people at the end of the day.
Yep,
very
whether they have
valuable.
a high-ranking position or not. I agree. Yep.
Yeah, but fun story.
Story.
Yeah,
keeps the UFOs in the mix. Betsy Sodaro.
Oh,
welcome back to our holiday party. Gotta ask, just before we get any further, any paranormal experience updates? Any weird shit in the past year you can't explain?
Any weird shit? Well, there was a while where I kept seeing flashes.
Whoa.
But then I realized it was just a new lamp I got, and whenever the heat turns on, it fucking flashes. But I was either ghost something, or I'm my brain is melting away.
Well, they say that everyone in quarantine is starting to have more paranormal experiences, and that's either them just noticing shit like their lamp does that, or they're actually home now longer to hear a ghost trying to talk to them. So you and your roomie Mono haven't had any of that.
Nothing like that. Nothing. I'm trying to even think. I haven't even had sleep paralysis or anything. Nothing. Yeah, nothing. Nothing too spooky.
For a goofball, you're pretty well adjusted.
Thank you. I
Having
mean,
more nightmares.
don't get me wrong. I live my nightmares every day during quarantine and a pandemic, but but yeah, no, everything's been pretty chill here.
That's good. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the way you want it at the end of the day, right?
right.
There's enough going on. You don't want to have to deal with
You
paranormal.
don't want to be locked in an apartment with a ghost right now.
No, not at all.
Screw that. All right. So, last year you brought in some horror movies, and this year I kind of wanted to do the same thing. But since we're going to be getting into Elves this week, I thought, who better to turn to, as I often have, even during quarantine, to say, Betsy, what are some really good scary movies or movies that you enjoy that feature creepy critters? You know, I'm thinking
critters.
You know, like Gremlins. You know, something
Yes.
like that. You know, so did you think about it? Do you have a list of recommendations for, like, I mean, if you know any elf-based horror movies, that would also be great.
You know, there are a couple elf-based horror movies that I haven't watched yet. Like, I feel on Amazon Prime, there's like a bunch of like evil elf movies and stuff. I haven't watched that yet. I should. I'll watch them in time.
We're discovering what a treasure trove of trash is available on Amazon Prime.
Dude.
I'm
right
imagining
now,
all these filmmakers like selling their rights to Prime, and Prime's just like, enough. Nope, you've said enough. We'll take it.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
really? Oh, wow.
All I said is horny elf with a knife, and
Yeah.
you're gonna buy this?
Yeah, what else?
3
you got?
seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is what they have so much weird, bad, but fun horror movies, and like right now, Christmas movies. I just watched a Christmas movie called Christmas Coupon. It sucks so bad, but it's very fun to scream. Like, where you're like, have you seen Birdemic? Have y'all seen that movie?
I haven't, but I know exactly what it is.
And honestly, I think it's on Prime, but it's like Christmas Coupon was very much Birdemic-y, where it's just like, what the fuck is happening? It's great. But I was thinking with little creatures, I love Ghoulies, especially Ghoulies Go to College. That's number 3.
Wait,
Is that a
Ghoulies
real
Go to
movie?
College?
Ghoulies Go to College?
Yeah, it's the 3rd one, and it rules.
Oh my god, I'm looking that up.
I
right
haven't
now.
seen the first Ghoulies. That's the one with the little green guy wearing like Mork
he's
and
in the
Mindy
toilet
suspenders
seat.
popping out of a toilet.
Yeah,
right?
they come from the toilet. Yeah. They come from the toilet. And I've watched the first one, but I gotta tell you, number 3 is where it's at.
Oh yeah,
you
look
know,
at that. Ghoulies Go to College. A college teacher brings the little creatures back to his campus, where they proceed to terrorize the faculty and students. Oh, this looks like a home run.
What's
Yeah.
Ghoulies 2?
I think, what is that one? There's one, I think number 4 is when they go to the carnival, or maybe that's 2. And that's pretty good. Going to the carnival is pretty fun, but I mean, going to college is where it's at.
Ghoulies Go to College is 1991.
This looks so good.
Let me see what number 2 is. Oh, okay. Yes, Ghoulies is the fairground. Yeah, going to a carnival,
Ghoulies.
and it's pretty fun.
I'm looking up Ghoulies 4. In the final installment, a retired occult turned police officer is assigned. Let's see. It doesn't really. It just says he's escaped an asylum and tries to summon forth the demonic forces. It doesn't really seem to have a hard setting there.
No.
But I'm
You don't
looking
need
down
it.
the list of Ghoulies. Okay,
Yeah.
I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me how much you love these on a scale from 1 to 10 Ghoulies. Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. Fish Ghoulie.
Wait, I gotta look at. Wait, where's this thing? Do you have
I'm
a
just
picture?
on Wikipedia. There's no pictures here.
Shit,
All right, it's okay. It's okay. Well, you can take your time. It's fine. This is a Christmas party. We're all good.
we're all good. We're all good.
Fine.
So there's a fish ghoulie. You don't have to rank these. I'll just go down the list. Fish ghoulie, cat ghoulie, rat ghoulie,
Okay.
flying ghoulie,
Whoa.
monkey ghoulie, clown doll ghoulie,
Ooh.
and then it just says other fish ghoulies.
I'll tell you, I think fish ghoulie, rat ghoulie, and cat ghoulie are all in Ghoulies 3. They're the
in
ones who
1,
go to
2,
college.
and 3. Yeah, they're the main. They're kind of it looks like they're the Leonardo, Donatello, and Raphael and Michelangelo of the ghoulies.
They totally are. And you know what? And this is not usually my animal. I'm going with fish ghoulie. He is ripped.
Nice.
He's kind of hot. Fish ghoulie is pretty hot and goes to college. He's got like a 12-pack on his bod. Just rip roaring abs. So I'm going with fish ghoulie.
I don't know.
One ghoulie.
I want everybody to Google cat ghoulie right now because cat ghoulie also. By the way, these ghoulies are fucking cut.
Dude, they're shredded, dude.
Cat ghoulie.
Cat ghoulie is kind of cool. All right.
Hold on.
And then what was the other one? Bird ghoulie. What was
Rat ghoulie? Oh,
Cat
yeah, they're
ghoulie's great.
flying?
Oh,
rat
God.
ghoulie can fuck off. I don't want to look at this guy ever.
Come on.
He does wear a jean jacket though, so I think I
That's
like
fucking
him.
awesome.
Hip.
Dude.
Yeah, pretty hip.
Why aren't they
Smart.
rebooting that? What's going on with
Crazy.
that?
Right?
Oh, I like the flying ghoulie. He's kind of cute.
Let me see this flying ghoulie.
Flying ghoulie kind of has like he's kind of got like a
Oh.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle face and bat and like weird penis skin bat wings. almost. I guess you could say all the ghoulies are carved from penis skin. They seem to have ball
Yeah.
skin texture.
yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. Whoa, flying ghoulie. Okay. I'm sticking with fish ghoulie.
Great.
He's hot.
He'd be the one you'd want to date.
Yep.
We're talking about who, if we had to, like, I don't know, get with a ghoulie, who would we get with? Right?
Yeah, fuck, marry, kill, cat ghoulie, fish ghoulie, rat ghoulie.
Kill rat, fuck cat, marry fish.
I agree. I
Easy
agree.
peasy.
Oh my God, those are worth a watch again. I'm sure.
Yes.
Wow.
They're very fun. They're
You know-
very fun.
Speaking of critter movies, I loved the movie Critters when I was young. That was always a classic. Did you like that one, Betsy?
You know what? I've never seen it.
Oh, it's
I haven't
so
either.
good. You haven't seen Critters?
No, I always looked at it. I
Oh,
always looked at the
God.
poster, the box art, and the VHS copy at the movie store. At what was the name of the movie store we used to go to before Blockbuster? It was like Hollywood. I want to say it was like Hollywood
Video?
Forever.
Right.
No,
Hollywood
Eh,
Video. Hollywood Forever is
it
the
wasn't a
cemetery.
chain. It was a local spot. There-
Okay.
My
Dude.
sister and her husband used to live near a video store called Cedar Chest Videos, and it just made it sound like it was just all porn.
It really does, yeah.
It totally does.
And they did have a huge porn section at Cedar
Yeah.
Chest.
Fuck,
but-
I miss
There
those
it is.
video stores.
Hollywood
yeah.
Connection. Hollywood
Hollywood
Connection.
Oh, that's pretty
That's
good.
a good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
That's very good.
Got
That's
my
very
Riley,
Nest
did you
games
see
and my
Critters,
video-
Riley?
No, I'm looking at it now. I never
Oh.
saw this.
The tagline is "They bite." Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, they do.
It's so good, man.
Isn't Leonardo
Oh, yeah.
DiCaprio in the
Yeah,
first one?
Yeah, Leo was in the second one. He did the
The
sequel.
second one.
Oh wow!
What I
Right.
love about it are there's these two like sort of space warriors, this guy and the girl, and they look like fucking like 80s rock stars, and
Good.
they come down to exterminate the critters, and they don't talk, they just wear cool sunglasses and dark overcoats, and then they fucking rock. It's
Oh.
a great movie.
I'm gonna.
I'm
watch
totally
this.
gonna watch it.
Yeah, you should. It's worth it.
Yes. Oh, that looks fun. Yeah, I got to watch all of them because there's 4 critters,
Yeah, it looks
right?
like
And
there's
maybe
4,
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. I only went through 1 and 2, but maybe I should check out 3 and 4.
I mean, I think you should check out 3 and 4.
I
I'm
gotta watch
telling
all
you.
these movies. Absolutely. Every time I think like, oh, I filled the void from my childhood watching some of this stuff over quarantine. I'm like, oh wait, the Ghoulies and Critters franchises. I haven't gone
there
there
you
yet.
Right.
Betsy, what else is on your spooky little creature movie list?
Little creature. Well, this is tough because I really love doll movies. Like
That's
creep,
fair.
and that kind of popped in my mind. just I just watched this one in quarantine. Guess what the name is? The name is Dolls, and it rules. It's on Prime. I'm telling you, everything it's on Prime. It's so much fun, and I was ready. I was ready to be like, okay, this movie's gonna suck, but it's awesome, and it's a lot of fun, like stop motion, animation, just creepy dolls. And I love doll movies where they're like demonic dolls and stuff. They're so fun.
What era of filmmaking is this? I'm Googling it right now.
80s, I think.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this too. 87. I got to watch this.
It's like legit very
Stuart
fun.
Gordon.
Oh, that
Stuart
looks
Gordon
good.
did it. The Reanimator. This guy's a genius.
Yes, yeah. And it's really, really fun. Mano and I, we were blown away. Blown away by it.
Oh,
This
I've
guy
seen
did-
this. I remember this. This movie's fucking great.
Yeah,
Stuart Gordon
right?
doesn't make a bad movie. Even his like not good movies are still good. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. They're just pure fun. Like he's just good at making just fun movies.
Great. Dolls on the list.
Dolls. Oh, I love I love the movie The Gate, and there are some good little demon creatures that come up from the whole they rule.
There's some flying ghoulies in that movie for sure.
For sure.
I used to watch The Gate. I think The Gate was like my gateway to horror movies because it was the one.
Oh, never seen that. That
Scary-
looks
Oh,
that looks
dude.
creepy as fuck.
Right, you would fucking love The Gate. It's so 80s, and it's about brothers who open a gate to hell in their house.
Yeah,
like in their backyard, they like dig out a tree or something, and then it is a gate to hell. It's awesome.
No way.
Yeah, it's really, really fun.
Wow.
That one has a sort of famous person in it too, doesn't it?
Yeah, I
Does-
think the
isn't there a
kid
child
is the
actor in
kid's
that?
like Steven some. Yes, who? Okay, I'm gonna look it up.
Stephen Dorff. Stephen
yes.
Dorff is in it as a kid.
And he's great. I mean,
yeah.
of course, but he's so good.
Love The Gate, man. That used to be on HBO all the time when I was like in 4th grade. I would just watch it constantly.
Dude,
That's very cool.
you know what's another great movie? It's not really a critter movie, but did you guys ever see House?
Yes,
That
I
movie-
haven't
love
seen.
it.
It's
I haven't seen the
so good.
American House, but I've seen the Japanese version, and that is fucking incredible. I watched that during the pandemic for the first time.
That one's great. And the American version is bonkers and awesome.
Yes.
Lots of great, like that big lady creature.
Yeah, I'm looking at her right now. Oh, she's so good.
It's really fun and strange. Like there's a whole like Vietnam war thing. It's cool. It's cool.
It's a great one.
Isn't the lead the guy who's in The Greatest American Hero? Isn't that
Oh
the
yeah,
same guy?
yeah, it is totally
Yes.
making it all the more better. Believe it or not, I'm walking away.
There's a
Never
fucked up
thought I
old
could
lady
be
creature chasing me down the stairs.
So good.
It's so good. And then I love Gremlins. That's a fun, and that's Christmas. That's Christmassy.
Oh, 100% Christmas
Yeah.
movie. And then, where do you stand on Gremlins 2?
Holy shit.
A new batch.
Entertaining, but nuts. It's nuts. It's a nutty, wild movie.
I kind of like it more than the original because it's so weird.
Impossible. There's okay. For all the listeners watching this, when you get a chance, you need to Google Key and Peele Gremlins 2 sketch.
Yes.
It is the funniest sketch ever. It's about they're sitting around at a board meeting at the studio talking about, okay, Gremlins was a huge success. Now let's work on Gremlins 2, and they bring in like this movie guy, this snazzy, like, I'm just gonna fix it up, and it's like, and he's like, electricity gremlin done in the movie, talking smoking hot gremlin done in the movie, and it's the fucking funniest sketch I've ever seen. I love that. I watch it like once every year.
It's
Have
so
you guys
good.
have you guys seen the family portrait meme of Yoda and the sexy gremlin posed with Baby Yoda?
No.
No, I love that.
No.
Sexy
good.
Gremlin is very great.
Yeah, and she likes to get with like humans. That's
Yeah,
also
yeah.
it's like got that fun Looney Tunes quality.
It's very Looney Toony, which I like. I'm always here for that because I feel like I maybe butcher. This may be a complete lie, but like Joe Dante didn't want to do a sequel, but they're like, please do a sequel, and so he was just like, okay, I'm gonna kind of then make fun of the idea of it being a sequel. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because
it
it's
does,
totally
yeah.
a spoof of the first movie.
Right, where it is just like, okay, you want a sequel? I will give you
Yeah, it's off the fucking rails. I
a
mean,
wild sequel.
yeah.
Did Joe Dante direct the segment from Twilight Zone, the movie, with the gremlin on the plane that's scaring John Lithgow? I think he did that.
That is so good. I
That's
love
a fucking the.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I think he gets it.
Did you ever see the original one of that?
Yes.
Is that
Yeah.
William Shatner?
Might
I think it is.
Yeah.
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 I think it is.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, right. The original on the
Yeah,
Twilight Gremlin on the wing. In the original version of the Twilight, he's like wearing this like, I don't know. He looks like, he's got this big winter coat, and I'm gonna look it up. But yeah, I love that Twilight Zone. That is like fucking so good.
It's so.
Oh yeah. He's got like.
he looks like the Abominable Snowman.
He's got like a
Yeah, the
fursuit
Abominable
on.
Snowman. Yeah, Gremlin on the wing. I'm gonna look that up.
Whoa, weird.
got
Yeah,
that.
he's like a Yeti.
Whoa, which that would be.
Like that's insane.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Like a Yeti. Yeah.
Which I think that would be scarier to see on an airplane wing than a fucking little creature.
Yeah, like
Oh,
a
yeah.
full furry
Like a full-size
man
Yeti,
on the
right.
plane.
Ooh, he's scary looking.
Kind of
Yeah,
cuddly.
he is.
Oh yeah,
I feel
that
like
is
we could
that
do a
is
whole
William
night-
Shatner. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, yeah.
Young
say-
William Shatner.
And it's so
dude.
great because isn't it? If I remember correctly, he's on his way back from like the psych ward or something. Like he's had a mental breakdown.
Yes.
And but and so you're left with questioning, like, is he really seeing this, or is he just fucking Looney Tunes, which is UFO and aliens and everything else in general. So it's like the perfect fucking television episode.
I prefer the Joe Dante. I think it's Joe Dante did this one.
Oh yeah,
Because he was a director on it of the 20,000 Fear 20,000
Oh,
feet.
yeah, look at
Evil
the
Gremlin.
Lithgow
It's
one.
Cool.
so good,
I don't know, man. That Yeti's pretty awesome too.
man.
And then did they remake that one in the new series? Because I'm seeing Adam Scott now as this character. I gotta
Oh.
watch this.
Oh, I didn't know about the Adam Scott one.
It's called Dark. No, that's a different thing. Yeah, they must have remade it again.
Oh wow, Michael! As I'm floating through Google, there's a fucking action figure of the Yeti Twilight.
Ah.
Yeah, I
you
saw
need it.
Oh,
I saw it. I
You
saw
both
it.
said. I love it.
oh, I need that.
I saw
might
it. I
be a
bought it.
Yeah, it's overnighted to my house. Might hear my dog bark.
man.
It's that figure showing up at my door. Betsy, any other little creature movies that you
Trying to,
want to put on the list? Other than Troll, obviously, which I think we talked about
We've
last
talked
time.
about
you were on the
Troll,
show.
yeah.
Oh man, Troll 2 too.
Troll
Those
2.
are goblins.
Yes.
I mean, I love them. Love Leprechaun. What other little creatures? The little like in Killer Clowns from Outer Space, the little clowns that pop out of her hamper.
Yeah, that's
Right.
awesome.
Those
You just
dudes
watched that
rule.
for the first time recently, didn't you?
Wait, you did?
No, I thought you did. I thought I saw on Instagram that you just watched that recently.
No, we did a podcast about it because we love it so much. Where every episode was us talking about it.
Amazing. All right, well, we got to play a game. We've played it with you before. We
Okay.
play it with every guest. It's been updated for 2020. And I guess not so much for 2020, but for year 4 of Bigfoot Collectors Club. Betsy, you know the drill. I'm going to go down a long list of phenomena. If you're open to it, you're going to say believe it. If you're not, you're going to say bullshit.
Okay.
This is a game that we like to call bullshit
or believe it. Wow, totally.
Man, takes 1 week off.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Really are on island time, man. All right, Betsy Sodaro.
Okay.
On your mark.
Uh-oh.
Get set. Ghosts.
Believe it.
UFOs.
Believe it.
Bigfoot.
Believe it.
ESP.
Believe it.
Shadow people.
Yeah, believe it.
Unicorns.
Bullshit.
Alien abductions.
Believe it.
Yeti.
Believe it.
Mothman.
Believe it.
Out-of-body experiences.
Believe it.
Tarot cards.
Believe it.
Demonically possessed dolls.
Bullshit. Oh, well, actually, I don't know, man. Never mind. Believe it.
Have you ever checked into Robert the haunted doll?
Yeah, dude. That shit scares me.
Oh, shit. The healing power of crystals.
Oh, yeah. This one, I'm like, if it helps people feel better, cool. But I don't think the rock itself is like, you know what I'm saying? So I guess bullshit.
An alien spacecraft crashed at Roswell.
Oh, yeah. Believe it.
Loch Ness Monster.
Believe it.
Atlantis.
Believe it.
Haunted houses.
Believe them.
Skunk ape.
What? Oh, I've heard of this. Bullshit. I don't know.
Ooh, you almost unlocked the game within the game.
Almost.
I think we're going to play it because you said what?
Okay.
All right. Stand by. The
Okay.
Jersey Devil.
Oh, shit. I guess, I don't know. Oh, I mean, I think bullshit. Okay, keep going.
The Biblical Devil.
Bullshit.
Speaking to the Dead.
Believe it.
Mermaids.
Bullshit.
The government is hiding the truth about Sasquatch.
Ooh, believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Past lives.
Believe it.
Life on other planets.
Believe it.
Life after death.
Believe it.
Great.
Yeah,
You survived another round of bullshit or believe it. Another year
Well
and
done.
another round of
did
bullshit.
it.
Or believe
Thank you so much. We did it. It's really wild what and I feel like I talk about this every time I do it, of just like unicorn, I'm like, fuck no. But then Yeti, I'm like, yeah, man. Where it's like, why? Come on. What is that?
Betsy,
get it.
I was watching my new favorite show on Travel Channel, Paranormal Caught on Camera.
Cannot stop talking about this
And
show.
there's a video of a fucking unicorn.
Oh, there's
What?
not.
And I swear to God, this guy is like, I think he's like in England or something. And he's like, he's got his phone. He's like, what the fuck? And he puts his phone out the window. And there in the middle of this beautiful field with other horses and shit is this white horse with a fucking unicorn on it.
What?
Yes. And the guy goes downstairs, like, he cannot believe it. He goes downstairs in the elevator, walks outside, and then it's gone. It's like run off. And it's just
Of
like,
course.
unicorns are real.
I don't know, man. I think he like something. It just the timing made it look like. he
vetting
got
these
it.
I'm going to
videos.
send you that video.
Yeah,
Send
please
it to me.
Send it so we can put it in the show
All
notes.
right,
Well,
done.
send it to us right now, and we'll watch it on the break, and we'll come back.
Oh,
and-
okay, I got to look for it. Fast little fingers here.
Well, you know, we're only producing a show here. So speaking of fast little fingers, Betsy, get your Google ready because you unlocked a game within the game called 60 Seconds to Sell Skunk Ape. Bryce is going to have 60 seconds to convince you that Skunk Ape is real. Bryce, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right.
Bryce, I
On your
failed
mark.
miserably at this last week, so you need to redeem us.
All right, here we go.
It was rough. I don't envy you.
Here we go.
I've never seen Riley actually melt down, and he did.
I couldn't do it.
Okay.
All right. On your mark, get set, sell Skunk Ape.
Betsy, if you believe in Bigfoot and in Yeti, this shouldn't be too far of a stretch for you. This is Florida's Bigfoot. This is the Everglades Bigfoot. And if you have a Google search bar near you, just type in skunk ape palmetto. And palmetto is the name of a plant that it's next to. So not long ago, an old lady noticed that apples were being taken from her yard, and she saw the creature, and she went out at night one time with her camera, and she said, I managed to take 2 pictures, and the flash went off, and she caught this creature in the lens of her camera. And as you could see, that's not a fucking orangutan. That's a Bigfoot from Florida. That is a skunk ape, and you could see the eyes shine in the eyes and the canines in the lower jaw. And she sent a letter to the sheriff's department saying, is somebody missing an orangutan? And in the second picture, you can actually see it like lifting up, which she describes in the letter. So it's not some inanimate object or stuffed taxidermy dummy. Betsy, 1. You know.
Stop. You're done.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's
a master at work.
I don't know. This looks pretty goofy. It looks like, I do think it might have been just an ape escaped.
In Florida? What kind of ape is that?
Florida's weird. I guarantee there are people in Florida who fucking own like gorillas and shit.
I can't argue with that. Yeah.
And their gorillas got out. Like,
Betsy, green light?
Gorilla.
Are you going to green light skunk ape, or are you going to pass on this bit?
I'm passing. Sorry, I'm passing.
It's okay. I gotta rethink my game here for next time.
Amazing. I love it. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, it's time for this week's Story of High Strangeness. All right, we're back with Betsy Sodaro, and we just watched this unicorn video that Bryce was talking about.
Bryce is trying to prove unicorns.
It's in the show. I'll put it in the show notes. If you want to Google at home, just type in paranormal caught on camera unicorn, and it'll pop right up on YouTube. Thoughts, everybody?
I think it's a bit. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, you go, Betsy.
I think it's a farmer doing a bit.
Yeah.
I truly do. I think they're like, let's put a horn on this horse and it'll be funny. I think it's a bit.
Yeah, but the context is, so in the context of the video, there's no farmers around. This is just a huge open field, and there's no fences either. It's like this horse, this unicorn, is just out in the middle of nowhere.
He's really fighting for this to be
I mean, so are a bunch of sheep.
Yeah,
that somebody owns and shepherds.
Yeah. This is a ranch.
So they're like, if I put this horn on this horse, like, someone's gonna see it. They're gonna freak out.
Bryce, we live in an age where everyone is now building silver monoliths and putting them out in the middle of nowhere just to freak everybody out.
Man, whatever.
I think this is either a very long, crooked ear on the other side of this horse's head, or I don't think it's a real unicorn.
Ear.
Yeah, you might have a long ear that's just kind of on the other. It's just the angle of it. We got to get a better look.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I get.
See if I send you guys any more videos.
Well, let us know what you guys think.
Is your definition of unicorn like just a horse with a horn? Like, it doesn't, no powers. We're just talking.
Yeah. It could just be a long wart or like some growth on its head.
A bone
I'm sorry,
spur.
Riley, that this fucking horse didn't get up and fly. Sorry, bro. So I thought the horn was enough.
Or at least rainbow laser eyes, like something, something.
I didn't see this horse not fly away. I'll put it that way.
Fair enough.
That is fair enough.
Well, speaking of magical creatures that may or may not exist, we, of course, are going to jump into tonight's Story of High Strangeness. Now, Betsy and Bryce, I sent you lines of dialogue to participate in the story, so you might want to open up your email, have that ready, and I'll cue you when it's time to give us that line. But tonight, we, of course, in the spirit of Christmas, are going to be talking about... Bryce, I think you should give me Riley, sorry. I think you should give me a real Brazilian whistle, like you might hear in Rio de Janeiro at a carnival party.
a Brazilian whistle.
Yeah, like a big high-pitched whistle. Like a police whistle that you'd hear at at a carnival. All right?
Okay.
Hit it now. Elves, they're on the shelves. Prepare yourselves. We're talking elves.
Wow.
Nice,
All right.
nice.
You'll make that.
Crush that, bro.
You'll make that pretty for me.
Oh yeah. No worries.
Elves are elemental beings found in nature, fields and forests, living beneath hillsides or in hollowed-out trees, where sometimes they mass manufacture delicious fudge-striped cookies. Elves are ostensibly interchangeable with their French cousin, the fairy, and their roots trace back to Germanic, British, and Swedish folklore and mythology. Up through the medieval and Middle Ages, they were believed to live alongside humanity, but remain invisible to the eye unless they so desired otherwise. Sometimes helping in the home, if said homeowner was lucky and respectful to the hidden folk, or sometimes causing mischief and outright harm by tormenting livestock, or striking poor victims with elf shot, a name given to the shooting and stabbing pains that seemingly come out of nowhere sometimes.
Now that's the name of a band right there, dude. Elf Shot.
Yeah.
That's what I call my sexual climax.
Here comes the elf shot.
No one.
Whoa.
Not cool, bro.
Yeah, I like that there is a name. They had a name like 400 or 500 years ago, and suddenly you're like, oh, why does my side hurt? They thought you were being shot by an invisible elf.
Makes sense.
Turns out you just needed to drink some water.
Yeah, just dehydrated. And they would find arrowheads from the Neolithic age, and they would say that they were elf arrows.
Whoa.
Isn't that kind of cool?
That is cool. Yeah.
Elves are also known to kidnap babies and swap them out for changelings.
Wow.
And live in parallel dimensions, which can be accessed beneath their fairy hill dwellings. If you are ever abducted by an elf, this is one of BCC's #1 rules, guys. Whatever you do not eat their food.
No way.
Or drink their mead or beer or wine, whatever they're trying to fucking feed you and make you drink. Do not do it. And never, ever, ever dance. You will be compelled to dance when they play their fairy songs. Do not fucking do it. You will never return to the human realm.
Whoa, I didn't know the dancing part.
Yeah, you can't dance, and you'll feel really compelled to, but you cannot.
Really, with fairy music? I doubt it.
Yeah, and
I doubt it, man.
Say the only way to reverse the spell of an elf song is to have a fiddler play the song back note for note perfectly backwards.
Whoa!
No one's ever been able to do it.
Betsy, you can't tell me if they offered you a big mug of beer and maybe like some tasty brat, and then turned on the music that you wouldn't go throw down. And
dude, I don't know. I would have a hard time accepting food and stuff from an elf. I would be just like, no, I don't fucking I get weirded out when friends are like, I made you cookies.
Oh wow!
I don't fucking trust this shit, man.
Gotcha.
In Norse,
you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
In Norse, especially during COVID, who wants any homemade?
Right.
In do you think elves get COVID? Probably. In Norse mythology, elves were split into 2 camps: light elves and dark elves, and generally behaved as those descriptions would imply. The light elves, the Lojosafar, were majestic and luminous and fairer than the sun to look at. Okay. They dwelled in the heavenly Norse realm of Alfheimr, which translates into elf home or elf world. These tall, hot elves are partly the inspiration behind the elves in J.R.R. Tolkien's classic Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
Hot elves.
Hot elves, dude.
Hot elves, dude. Of course. That's where we get fucking Orlando Bloom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a light elf. Meanwhile, the dark elves, or the Tokolkafar, live in subterranean realms and are nasty creatures. Now, obviously, these parallel beings, parallel beings mirror the Christian idea of angels and demons. Or, if you want to go Star Wars, and you know I always do, the Jedi and the Sith. In fact, the name Sith originates from a race of Scottish elves called the Sith or Slagmaith. And I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Origins of the elven race vary, and no one truly knows where they come from or what they are. As Christianity spread across Western Europe, elves were often classified as pagan entities, although Christian ministers and scholars, like the Reverend Robert Kirk, a Gaelic scholar who literally wrote the book on elves called The Secret Commonwealth, he explored the idea that elves were fallen angels, or the spirits of the dead that live beneath the hills until Judgment Day. Reverend Kirk was almost the Charles Fort or John Keel of his day. He lived between 1644 and 1692 in Aberfoyle, Scotland, and all he did was basically collect stories of elves, fauns, and fairies, as well as ghosts, witchcraft, and extrasensory perception from the Scottish Highlands.
Yeah, he was OG.
Dude.
Didn't he get taken to Elfland and never seen again? Didn't he disappear?
Bryce?
Sorry, I'm bearing the lead.
Once again, jump into the third act before you get there.
There's our guy.
Yeah.
Skipping straight to the climax of the story.
I get so excited. Sorry.
So he was very interested in collecting stories about psychic phenomenon, and he was really into seers, people who could predict the future. And he kind of came at it from the angle that all of this was evidence of the supernatural world, which would help bolster belief in the existence of God, a supreme supernatural being.
Right.
He described elves as such.
These Siths, or fairies, they call Slagmaith, or the good people, are said to be of middle nature between man and angel, as were demons thought to be of old. Of intelligent fluidus.
That's a made-up word. He made that word up, by the way.
Okay, good. I was like, I don't think I'd... Yeah.
Of intelligent fluidus spirits and light-changeable bodies, like those called astral, somewhat of the nature of a condensed cloud and best seen in twilight. These bodies be so pliable through the subtlety of spirits that agitate them that they can make them appear or disappear at pleasure.
Wow.
So basically, he's like, yeah, Twilight, you'll see them marching along in their, like, spider silk woven clothing. They almost look like ghosts. You know what I mean? We're not there. We're not looking at, like, little tiny guys. These are sort of like human-sized ghost people that sort of are astral projections that are, like he said, somewhere between man and angel, meaning between flesh and spirit. They're kind of the in-between state. You know, they're not quite angels, they're not quite human, they're the other people, they're the hidden people. And that's kind of how he saw elves, you know. And later, they also became, that's sort of the description of what the fairy or fae folk were as well. You know, and that word stems from the French. And it basically all kind of gets mixed together. But that's what he would call elves, or these like weird, sinewy, spectrally people.
Fluidus is the first song on my album Elf Shot.
It's also the thing I say right after my sexual climax.
Come on.
So the elves that inhabit the world of Reverend Kirk may have been responsible for strange accounts of rock and stone throwing, poltergeist activity. They tormented barn animals. They would see glowing orbs, and they would hear wood knockings.
Wow, that's
in the forest and in the wall, on the walls of farmhouses and cottages. It's like Bigfoot, UFO, and ghost activity all rolled up into one. In fact, some of the accounts, as described by Kirk in his book, which I have a copy of, give me the impression that if he were around today, he would not be surprised at all by some of the strange happenings said to have taken place in a location like Skinwalker Ranch.
Wow, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I gotta go grab the book. I left it on my coffee table. I'm gonna need it for a quote. So if you guys want to vamp, or we'll just time mark this, I'll be right back.
Yeah, we can vamp, dude.
We can vamp.
Vamp, bro, with the best of them.
Shit, we can vamp for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, wood knocking and stone throwing, that's classic Bigfoot shit right there, you know?
Yeah, it's also very like Tommy knockers, you know?
Yeah.
Which are also kind of elfy.
Yeah, it's like there's this phenomenon happening, and we're all trying to, you know, put our own description and name to it, you know? But it's all the same thing, you know? At least it seems to be.
Yeah, I remember you got like I think the first time I came on, I was very much like, no, like I don't believe in a lot of this stuff. But then you're like, what if it's all essentially the same thing, but like it shows up in different forms to different people?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that blew my mind. And even the thought of, and you all said this, of like aliens. Like, what if these things are aliens just showing up in like just a different look than the classic what we think aliens look like?
Or what if aliens aren't even aliens? It's just whatever this thing is, and it's showing up as aliens right now when it showed up as the Sith back then.
Oh, there it is.
So Kirk may have gotten too close to the other world. He mysteriously died at the age of 47. His body found on one of the hills beneath which it was believed elves lived. In folklorist Andrew Lang's introduction to the Secret Commonwealth, he writes, his successor, the Reverend Dr. Graham, informs us that Mr. Kirk was walking on a dunshee, or fairy hill, in his neighborhood. He sunk down in a swoon, which was taken for death.
Wow.
After the ceremony of a seeming funeral, writes Scott, the form of the Reverend Robert Kirk appeared to a relation and commanded him to go to Graham of Doucheray. And then, so basically, this ghost, Kirk's ghost, shows up, and he tells his successor, Graham, say to Doucheray, who is my cousin as well as your own, that I am not dead, but captive in fairyland.
Yeah.
And only one chance remains for my liberation.
Wow.
The posthumous child of which my wife has been delivered since my disappearance shall be brought to baptism. I will appear in the room.
Yep.
When, if Doucheray shall throw over my head the knife or dirk which he holds in his hand, I may be restored to society. But if this is neglected, I am lost forever.
Wow.
True to his tryst, I'm still reading this all from the book, Mr. Kirk did appear at the christening and was visibly seen. But Doucheray was so astonished that he did not throw his dirk over the head of the appearance.
You had one job, dude.
Oh, man.
Throw the fucking dirk over your shoulder, Doucheray.
In due society, Mr. Kirk has not yet been restored.
Whoa.
This is extremely to be regretted, as he could now add matter of much importance to his treatise. Neither history nor tradition has more to tell about Mr. Robert Kirk, who seems to have been a man of good family, a student, and, as his book shows, an innocent and learned person.
But think about that, right? So nobody was writing about or taking seriously the idea of Elven and Fae and you know,
well, and psychical. He was basically the first psychical researcher in a way, because he was like, people keep having visions of the future that come true. What's that about?
It was rumored, and as the story goes, they were not pleased with him sort of giving away all these details about their existence and wherewithals, and so they took him to Elfland. They basically kidnapped him. They abducted him because, you know, they did not appreciate giving away all their secrets.
Because the thing that comes up with elves again and again is you have to have a very respectful fear of them almost. You have to they say that, like, if you encounter an elf, you take off your hat, you speak to them with respect, and you better give them something in your pocket that you're attached to. Like,
Yeah.
if you had if I had an action figure of Luke Skywalker in my pocket, I'd want to give him that. You know what I mean?
And not like the new one with the muscles. You'd be like, give him the fucking old school Luke Skywalker.
It would have to be the one from my childhood.
Yeah,
You know,
or your ass will be smited.
Like, there's certain kind of flowers you wanted to carry around in your breast pocket in case you came across one of them. You know, sometimes like a little piece of bread or cake or something like that, you know, would help. But you got to give them something. Otherwise, they're gonna fuck up. They're gonna fuck with you, and you might never come back again.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Elves, man.
They're tricky, dude.
Yeah.
Into the 17th and 19th centuries, through 19th centuries, I should say, thanks to authors like Edmund Spenser with The Fairy Queen and Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream, elves began to morph into the cute little humanoid critters we're more familiar with today. The pointy-eared types that wear pointy hats and smoke pipes on toadstools. Christmas elves first began to emerge in the Victorian era as the Dutch version of St. Nicholas. You'll recall this, Betsy, from your first Christmas episode.
Yeah.
Santa Claus became popular in the emerging American Christmas tradition. In 1822, Clement Clarke Moore wrote The Night Before Christmas, which establishes Santa as a right jolly elf. However, he makes no mention of a toy shop or Santa's famous elves. The notion of Christmas elves may have been first floated in an unpublished work by Louisa May Alcott, who, of course, wrote Little Women.
Oh.
In a story that she called The Christmas Elves in 1852. But it was really the magazines of the era that started the myth of the elves working for Santa at the North Pole. In December of 1857, Harper's Weekly published a poem called The Wonders of Santa Claus, where readers were introduced to the little green men working hard to bring joy to the children of the world with this stanza. Betsy, if you'll read that, please.
You got it. Okay.
In his house upon the top of a hill and almost out of sight, he keeps a great many elves at work, all working with all their might, to make a million of pretty things, cakes, sugar plums, and toys, to fill the stockings hung up, by the little girls and boys.
Wow, that's wild.
I like that they added just to fill out some.
The little girls and boys. Come on.
Isn't that amazing though that a poem kicked it all off, and just like the Elf on the Shelf, of a little book, meant for children, kicked off the whole fucking elf thing. It's amazing.
And like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was like, I think it was like Montgomery Ward.
Yeah,
it was like
Santa Claus with Coca-Cola. It's like amazing.
Yep.
Corporate bastards.
Yeah,
man. Like we said before, Christmas has always been commercial. And then on the cover of Godey's Ladies Book, you guys remember that?
No.
They first published an image of elves working in Santa's workshop at the North Pole on a magazine cover in 1873, sealing their relationship with old Saint Nick forever. Another cold place that's famous for elves. Bryce, you want to take a stab at that? No, not a line, but you want to take a guess?
Oh, another cold place, Switzerland.
Well, close. I mean,
Norway.
Yes, close-ish. Iceland,
of course. I meant that.
Right.
Close. There, the belief in elves is still taken very seriously.
Right. Yes.
And why wouldn't it be when you might encounter an entity, Betsy, you're going to love this, known as the Lard Elf.
What?
Just one of many elves in Iceland. Here's a summary of the legend that I pulled from extremeIceland.is.
Oh.
I'll read directly from the website here. Seduced by a lard elf on Christmas. According to Icelandic folklore, if you sit down at a crossroad in Iceland where you see 4 churches, elves will appear and offer you some of their finest elf swag. Ooh. They will offer you gold, silver, or jewels, while others will morph into your mother or sister and ask you to come with them. Shapeshifters. Elves can also do that. This might sound like a great deal, but there's a catch. If you accept any of their gifts, you'll go insane.
Oh, no.
Wow.
But If you make it through the night without accepting any of their gifts, you should stand up and utter the words, "Thank God, now it is daytime everywhere." The elves will then disappear, leaving all that sweet elf booty behind.
Oh.
One time, a guy called Fusi attempted the challenge and sat down at a crossroad. He was doing good, rejecting one tempting elf offer after another. But then an elf came bearing the most tempting offerings of them all, a hardened piece of lard, which was a delicacy at the time. This time,
this dude was bound to go insane no matter what, man.
Not refuse lard.
This time, Fusi gave in to temptation and took a huge bite out of the lard and spoke the famous words, "Seldom have I denied the lard." He, of course, went insane.
Of course. Let him go insane, man. If lard is going to be the thing that you're like, I'm willing to risk it.
Or you have discovered Fossy's weak spot.
I also like that this is sort of like the Iceland Elf Challenge. You're like, all right, I got to find it. You put yourself there. You're like, I got to find a crossroad. There's got to be 4 churches. And I got to sit in this corner. Do your worst, elves. I'm going to get rich by morning time.
So good.
Right.
I should have known Iceland. Did you guys see that movie Eurovision Song Contest with Will Ferrell?
Yeah.
Yes.
I just watched that during Quar.
Yeah, it's so good. They had elves in there, right? Yeah, and they were staunch believers.
Right.
It's a
Like,
funny movie.
I heard that in Iceland, like, it's still, elves are very much a part of their culture still, to where if they're like building a road and they think that an elf village is in the way, then they will like change construction. They'll
Betsy,
like.
Do you have a copy of my story of high strangeness?
Oh no!
Because I was literally about to say, to your point.
Give it to us. Give it to us.
In Iceland, civil engineering projects and plans are sometimes redrawn or rerouted to protect the land where nature elementals are believed to inhabit.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Such customs are described in this New York Times article from 2005, when construction workers in, God help me here, Hafnarfjordur, a port town in the outskirts of Reykjavik, came upon some trouble while raising a hill to make way for a graveyard. And this is directly from the story. After 2 different bulldozers repeatedly and inexplicably malfunctioned, and local television cameras failed when trained on the hill, though they worked elsewhere, the crew halted their project. "We're going to see whether we can't reach an understanding with the elves," Jon Ingi, the project survivor, told Morgenbladet, a Reykjavik newspaper at the time. Local elf communicators were called in to arbitrate, and after a while, work resumed. In my opinion, well, whatever it is, hidden people or elves, it has just accepted this and moved away from here. Mr. Hartison told Valdemar Hafstein, an academic researcher who in the late 1990s published The Elves' Point of View, an article about elves and their effect on construction projects. Another type, moving out of the story for Riley sound cues, another type of modern elf encounter can sometimes occur under the influence of hallucinogenic drugs.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Like DMT and psilocybin. While undergoing hallucinogenic experiments, Terence McKenna was introduced to entities he coined machine elves or clockwork elves.
Oh.
Bryce, if you'll read.
Yeah, I'm going to attempt my Terence McKenna impersonation. Here we go.
I encounter self-transforming elf machines, which are creatures, entities perhaps, although they're not made of matter. They're made out of, as nearly as I can figure it, syntax-driving light. They use a language you see. It is made out of sound. It is sound, but you see it. And the entire point of the encounter, from their perspective, is to teach you to do this.
That's pretty damn good McKenna.
Yeah. That's somebody who's listened to a lot of hours. McKenna on
So he
YouTube.
describes these entities that literally bounce around him and like literally make him. He says that they go, look at me, watch what we can do, and then they talk, and these visual forms of language come out of their mouths.
Yes.
And he says it goes to the point. And with DMT specifically, and listen, guys, we're not encouraging any of you guys to go do drugs. I know sometimes you guys write in and say, don't talk about this stuff. But here's the thing. There's weird creatures. We're just talking about the weird encounters that people have. That's what I'm interested in. That this is about halfway through a DMT trip when it's like peaking, that you have this happen to you sometimes. And that he himself has had then words come out of his mouth that look literally like word balloons forming in a comic page, or these like weird structures pour out of his mouth. And they're sort of like, yes, you can do it too. This is what they're trying to teach you to do.
Yeah, it's incredible. And he compares it to, in Christendom, they call it the Logos, and the word was made flesh. And it's like these elves are also, like he said, made of language. The world is made of language, and almost from I missed your simulation theory, but you know what programs computers, don't you? Language, code, and all of this is of the same ilk,
Well, and there are roots of that in spell casting, with magicians and wizards and witches.
Yeah.
When you cast a spell, the word, it's literally spell. You're putting symbols together to create something that didn't exist before.
That's right.
So when you spell words, when you write a story, you're literally creating a magic spell. Basically, you're taking something that didn't exist and you're putting an idea into a physical form through language.
Yeah, and even going back even into Christendom, in the Bible it said, God gave Adam the task of naming the beasts of the field, and until he did so, they weren't actually in existence. They were just there sort of as an amalgamous blob, but it wasn't until he gave them name, I name you oxen, I name you cat, that they became things.
Well, I'll take you one even more. The word universe can be described to mean one verse, one sentence, one word almost.
Wild, man. Trippy.
And we're all living in is one verse. It's one line of spell casted language. So the fifth dimensional elves don't necessarily look like literal elves. They aren't limited, and they aren't limited to McKenna alone. Many users undergoing DMT experiments have claimed to break through walls of dancing kaleidoscopic fractal patterns and meet with intelligent beings on the other side.
Wow.
Are these intelligencies the true hidden people living alongside us invisibly since the dawn of time? Or are elves just figures of folklore and Christmas TV specials?
No.
Well, I had
No.
Betsy, because you were here, I had to find some elf encounters to share with you.
Oh, yes, I'm so pumped.
So I dug up a few on Reddit on a thread created by a user called "If anyone has ever had encounters with elves, has anyone ever had encounters with elves in real life?" And people responded. So here's some highlights from that.
Yes.
And these are all anonymous. So one person says, "Yes, when I was young, just under 6, I woke up in the morning and looked out my window and saw these guys." And then he put a link to like the straight up like David the Gnome looking elves, like garden gnome looking elves. But they were doing real work up in the branches of the tree in my backyard right outside the window. One was pushing a wheelbarrow. One was carrying acorns. One was just walking. There was a woman and a baby. They couldn't have been more than 3 to 4 inches tall. Very classic looking elves / gnomes. I watched them for a few seconds, and one looked at me and noticed that I had noticed them. Then I blinked, and they were gone.
Whoa.
It didn't even seem weird at the time. Just elves doing elf stuff. Another person writes, "When I was about 17, I lived in South Florida. It was dusk, and I took my German Shepherd outside to do her business. I saw about 6 to 10 creatures about the length of my hand flying vertically about 6 feet from me. They did a small circuit and flew off. My dog saw them too and tried to jump at them. I've always thought they were some sort of fae. Another person writes, I know. I've had experiences with what I've come to learn are imps. Lived with a boyfriend who was being tormented by these small creatures. They lurked in the shadows of his house, were about a foot tall, very fast, so that when one sees them, one dismisses it as imagination. After marrying the guy, having a kid with him, then divorcing him, our kid, now 23, would visit him at his house regularly and remembers seeing these things very clearly.
What?
Since they were closer to her size, she got a good look at them. She described them as looking like elves with long ears, but with mean, toothy grins.
Ew.
Saw them come in and out of solid walls.
What?
Yeah.
Aliens can do that.
Yep.
I didn't say like ghosts can do that shit.
Yeah.
Yep. I live in a town that has folklore about little elves that live in the woods and steal children who aren't being cared for properly. One day when my mom was a kid, she and her entire family saw a little elf guy frolicking through their field. They just sat there watching it jump and dance around from their living room window until it finally disappeared. I like to think that was maybe just like a neighbor who was just like running naked through their fields.
Yeah, I think it was just somebody having a ball.
It happens.
Yeah.
Here's another one. This is the last one I'll read. The first time was 22 years ago when my mom was pregnant with my sister. She had a fight with my dad, and it was so bad she had to leave the house and slept in an old lady's house around the corner. She was 7 to 8 months pregnant. So the old lady, fearing my mom could go into labor because of the stress, stayed with her in the same room at the back of the house. They say it was around midnight, and they were about to fall asleep, when they saw a shadow looking through the window.
Ooh.
They stayed until they heard the person walking away. My mom says she thought it was my dad looking for her, so they went to see through the windows to make sure. They both say they saw a small man covered in black hair with a small tail walking away.
What?
Now, they thought it was a monkey, even though there wasn't a zoo in that city, much less monkeys. But that was the logical explanation. Until they saw it turned around. They describe it as having a completely human-like face. Like being a man, its only difference being its size. Like a 5-year-old kid, but chubby and covered in hair.
Oof.
Not cool, dude.
It stood there looking at them for maybe 5 seconds and then ran away. The next encounter happened 4 to 5 months after my grandma's house, where my parents lived. They had built a room behind the main house, and my sister was sleeping in her crib in my parents' room, and I was with my grandma and aunt in the main house. My aunt says my mom came to see if I needed anything. I was 2 years old, and asked my aunt to keep an eye on me because she was going to take a nap. My aunt said sure, and my mom left. So my aunt says maybe 2 minutes have passed when she clearly heard the sounds of coins coming from my parents' room. My sister had a sweater with tiny coins attached to it, so my aunt thought my sister was awake and went to grab her so my mom could sleep. She said she was walking into the room and saw the door wide open. When she came closer, she saw my mom laying in bed, completely asleep, and next to my sister's crib was the same human-like thing trying to grab my sister.
What?
She screamed at my mom, and the being ran away into the backyard. She picked up my sister, and my mom said, and my mom was still sleeping. She had to push her for her to wake up. Listen, some of these are written a little poorly, but these are juicy. My mom did not tell anyone about her encounter because she thought that night she and the old lady were just tired and that they saw something under the moonlight. Not the best illumination, yet my aunt described this thing exactly as my mom did, small, chubby, and covered in hair, standing on two legs and with a man's face. I forgot to add that my dad and 2 other neighbors ran after that thing. They heard it running through some bushes behind the yard, but they didn't find it.
Could you imagine that shit? That's crazy.
And there you have it.
Wow.
A brief look at Elves just in time for the holidays.
Yeah,
I'll throw up a bunch of links in the show notes. And of course, if you have ever had an elf encounter, please write to us at BigfootCollectorsClub@gmail.com. Would you?
What?
Betsy Sodaro, what the hell's that?
What?
What are these elves?
Exactly.
Are they
Dude,
real?
that one, it sounded like they were trying to steal the baby and changeling it, man.
For sure.
Not.
They're gonna
Oof.
they were gonna swap that baby.
They were gonna swap that baby
That's the
for
classic
sure.
baby swapping right there.
Right? Yes. Oh man. I mean, I don't know. It's the little kid with the tree one. I feel I think that's just a fun dream you had.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like I think you combine like it felt like a combo of like you saw. Remember that David the Gnome book?
Yes.
Mhm.
Smushed with Chip and Dale, and I think it's just a fun little dream that kid had. Well, hey,
Yeah,
maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
It's weird stuff. I mean, I've definitely come across other stories of people being like, I turned around and there was a little man standing on my windowsill and then he disappeared. My windowsill.
Oh,
And they say in this folklore that like they always show up when you're least thinking about it. You know what I mean? When it's the furthest thing from your mind. So
Desperate, man.
Wow.
who knows?
Right?
Riley, any thoughts on elves?
Yeah, they're fucking real, man. They're out there, they're real, and they're not just in places like Norway and Iceland, and they're fucking here, dude. They're in the States.
The elves are fucking here, bro.
Oh man, it's a real phenomenon, and you can stumble across it, you know, unbeknownst to you at any point in time in your life. So just beware, know the rules, and I'll have to learn that sentence you told me to learn, Michael, about keeping staving off.
It
I've
is
got
now
my rules down.
daytime
Don't
everywhere
drink.
or something.
yeah. I like that daytime everywhere thing.
Yeah,
cool.
that's it. I know that don't drink, don't eat, and don't dance, but I gotta learn that line too now.
I think
Fuck,
that's
I got
specifically just the Iceland elf challenge.
yeah,
You know
I'd
what I mean?
rather I'd rather know it and not need it than need it and not know it.
Wouldn't
you know
that be
what I
the fun, trendy Instagram thing that everybody started doing, the Iceland elf challenge, and then just everyone started going insane?
Go sit between four churches and lose your mind.
mean? Oh, so good.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's something. I don't the anonymous Reddit form as a source of stories. Always concerns me a little
Oh,
bit.
sure.
Because you know
It's
how
just
much
for
of that is just people telling stories.
It's just
but
for fun, but it all adds to the folklore either way.
it does. That's true. And yeah, what is folklore but people telling stories? So I mean,
You never know if you really did have a true encounter. Where would you go to share it?
that's true. Anonymously on Reddit. That's where I'd go.
Hell
You're
yeah,
right.
dude. Hell yeah.
You got me there.
All right,
You know,
well,
yeah.
we got to wrap up another holiday edition of Bigfoot Collectors Club. I'm so glad that we had Betsy back.
What a treat
Betsy,
you are, Betsy.
we don't know where to find elves, but where can people find you?
Oh, nice. I'm on Instagram at Betsy Sodaro. And yeah, that's about it. Oh, and yeah, give a funny feeling a listen where me and Marcy Jarro, we pretty much, we talked to all of our friends about paranormal experiences and stuff. Yeah, if you like this, you'll, I guarantee, like a funny feeling.
Absolutely.
So true. Yep.
Boys, anything to plug before we peace out?
I mean, just, you know, I always like to plug the Patreon, the other side.
Subscribe to the other side.
That's right. It's honest. You guys, it's good. I promise. You'll like it. It's fun.
Great. It's good. What else do you need to know? Bryce.
Yes, absolutely. Well, you know, I've been working on my adult party game, Dirty Picture Cover Up, and I just want to say thank you. It's out. It's available. Go to thedpcugame.com. Get yours today. I just want to say thank you to all the people who have ordered one, especially Tom Malpass from Australia, who paid quite a bit in shipping. I appreciate you. And, you know, just thank you. Follow us on our social medias at the DPCU game. And I've worked really hard on it. It's so much fucking fun. I've never laughed harder playing it, and I hope you get one and enjoy it. And let me know what you think.
Absolutely, and I put the link to that in the show notes of all these recent episodes,
Awesome.
So you can find it there, as well as the pre-order for the new Spindrift album.
Yeah.
And do us a favor, guys. Will you please go to Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star review so more people can find our show. And if you do, we'll read it. We might read it like this one that says, "Good cryptid fun, 5 stars by Soul Gardenia. I came to the club through a funny feeling pod.
Oh, yeah.
Boom.
Funny, entertaining, and as a Floridian, it's inspired me to ride my alligator into the swamps to find that dang skunk ape. Wow, this is more relevant than we would ever know.
Wow.
Came for the cryptid, stayed for the conversations about hallucinogens. Oh my God, she nailed 3 of the topics today.
Whoa.
Synchronicity, bro.
Wow. And this is a reminder to you guys, we will be taking the next 2 weeks for the holidays off. So no new episode of the BCC here on the main feed until, let me look at the calendar. It's going to be Wednesday, January 6th.
Ooh.
But in the meantime, we're still going to be doing some episodes over on the other side. If you want to check us out there, we're doing a fun movie night, movie club episode coming up called The Cry of Bigfoot or Cry of the Wilderness or something. I don't know. We're going down this list of film school rejects, like top 10 most wild and fun Bigfoot movies ever made. Betsy, this is an Amazon Prime, like... delicious treat.
Movies,
You gotta send me the list. You gotta send me the list.
So far we've done Night of the Demon, which is insane, and you need to see that.
I've seen that.
That's a crazy movie. And we did
Exists,
which was kind of fun. It's by the Blair Witch guys.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna do all 10 of those, and so we'll have one of those episodes coming up over the holidays, as well as some other stuff over on the other side. So go to BigfootCollectorsClub. Go to patreon.com/BigfootCollectorsClub. All right, everybody. Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
Woo.
Until January 6th. Thank you again to Betsy, I should say.
Thank you for having me.
Always a treat. We'll have you back next year.
I love you guys so much. Yes.
We got to find some good Hanukkah monsters. That'll be my mission for next year.
Right.
But until then, good night.
And go get regressed. Ho, 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 ho.
Dad?
Bigfoot Collectors Club is produced by Riley Bray. Our theme song is Come Alone by Suneaters, courtesy of Lotuspool Records. If you like the show, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts. It really helps get the podcast to more listeners. To support the show, check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/Bigfoot Collectors Club and unlock multiple reward episodes every month.